The digital deception, when love becomes a lie. She fell in love with a man she'd never met, only to discover he never existed. Eleanor Vance thought she had finally found the love she deserved, after years of loneliness and heartbreak. He was kind, attentive, romantic, but behind the messages, photos, and promises was a lie. A lie so complete it nearly cost her everything. But what her scammer didn't expect was what Eleanor would become. Welcome back to Narrated by Abby, where real people share real stories about betrayal, resilience, and the moments that change our lives forever. In today's episode, we take you deep into the world of online deception, a romance scam that went far beyond flattery and flirtation. This story is about how loneliness can become vulnerability, and how hope can be twisted into heartbreak. If you or someone you love has ever trusted someone online and regretted it, this story may hit close to home. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more real-life stories every week. After a painful divorce and 2 quiet years of solitude, Eleanor Vance, 48, decided to try something new. She was lonely, sure, but more than that, she wanted connection, companionship. She didn't want to die with her stories trapped inside her, with no one to hear them. So she created a profile on a dating site for people over 40 and fabulous. She used a modest photo, no filters, no glamour, and wrote honestly about her love of literature, her habit of talking to houseplants, and her dream of visiting Scotland. The first few weeks were discouraging. Messages ranged from awkward to creepy. One man asked if she'd be willing to relocate to his ranch in Arizona, permanently. She nearly deleted the account, until one message stood out. Polite, thoughtful, a little poetic. You look like the kind of woman who sees the world with both softness and strength. I'd love to get to know you. David. His profile was everything she had hoped for. A widowed engineer working on an oil rig off the coast of Scotland. Handsome, rugged, kind. A single father with 2 grown children. He had a dog named Jasper, read Hemingway, and liked classical guitar. He even knew the works of Rilke. Their messages quickly became daily conversations. At first, Eleanor was cautious. She remembered the horror stories. But David seemed different. He was always respectful. He never rushed her. He called her "my angel," and spoke about his late wife with tenderness. His grief made him seem more real, more human. And Eleanor, who had spent years caring for everyone but herself, felt seen for the first time in years. Their connection deepened. They started talking on a messaging app. Sometimes they'd chat late into the night. David sharing stories about life at sea, Eleanor sharing her dreams of one day opening a bookstore cafe. When I come back to the mainland, he'd say, I want to take you there myself and sit in the back corner reading Neruda aloud to you while you bake scones. She laughed. She believed. The red flags were faint at first. A bad internet connection when she suggested a video call. A delay in his paychecks from the rig. An accident on site. Then, one night, came the first request. I hate to ask, Angel, but I'm in a bind. I need to pay a customs fee to release a replacement generator. Just $600. I'll send it right back. I just don't have access to my account offshore. Eleanor hesitated, but he apologized for even asking, said he hated burdening her, and her heart broke at the idea of him suffering alone. She wired the money. That first transfer became a trickle. The trickle became a flood. Medical emergencies, travel issues, frozen assets. David was always just this close to coming to see her, just one more payment away. Eleanor drained her savings. Then she opened a credit card. Then a second. She stopped going out with friends, avoided phone calls. Her sister, her best friend, her co-workers all noticed. She brushed them off. You don't understand, she snapped once. He's not like that. He's different. In private, though, she began to doubt. Why wouldn't he FaceTime her, even once? Why had she never heard the voice of this man she loved? She rationalized it all. He was on a rig, offshore, bad signal, too much equipment around. He was grieving. He was busy. She couldn't admit the truth, because if she did, it meant she'd been tricked. It meant she was a fool. The final straw came when David told her he had an investment opportunity that would allow him to leave the oil rig permanently. But he needed $18,000. To help him do it, Eleanor tried to secure a second mortgage on her house. The bank manager, Mr. Weller, paused the application and asked to speak privately. He had seen this before. Quietly, gently, he pulled up an article about romance scams, the oil rig, The widower story, the emotional investment, the escalating financial requests. It matched, exactly. Then he asked Eleanor the question she had been avoiding for months. Have you ever seen him, Miss Vance? Have you heard his voice? She froze, her throat closed, and then she broke down in the office, quiet sobs racking her body as the illusion shattered. Everything she had believed was a lie. The photos he sent? Stolen. The stories? Recycled scripts from forums. There was no oil rig, no widower, no David Miller. She had lost over $46,000. More than that, she had lost herself. For weeks, Eleanor barely left the house. She deleted her social media, stopped answering calls. She couldn't bear to explain what had happened. The shame was suffocating. But under the grief, a small ember of rage began to burn. She had been preyed on, manipulated. Not because she was stupid, but because she was kind. And that, she decided, was worth fighting for. She filed a report with the authorities, knowing the scammer would likely never be caught. But she kept going. She told her sister, then her book club. Then she joined a support group for survivors of romance fraud. There she met dozens of people with stories just like hers. Some had lost hundreds, others their life savings. Eleanor found purpose. She began giving talks, first to libraries, then churches, and eventually online safety summits. She shared the red flags: fast emotional escalation, stories involving distant jobs, reluctance to video chat, requests for wire transfers, guilt-tripping tactics. She partnered with law enforcement to educate the public. She consulted with tech platforms to report catfish accounts. She became a voice for those too ashamed to speak up. One day at a university event, a young woman approached her after her talk. "I was about to send money to someone like that," she whispered, eyes wet. "But then I saw your video, and I didn't." Eleanor smiled. For the first time in a long time, she felt whole. Eleanor never got her money back, but she rebuilt her life, slowly, on her terms. She started a blog called The Digital Deception Diaries, where she shares survivor stories and safety guides, and sometimes she still checks the dating sites. But now, with wisdom, with eyes wide open. She doesn't trust empty words or blurry photos anymore, but she never lost her belief in connection. She just learned to protect her heart and use her voice. In a world overflowing with connections, it's easy to forget that not everyone has good intentions. But Eleanor's story reminds us that strength isn't just surviving betrayal. It's transforming it, from heartbreak to purpose. Have you or someone you know experienced online deception? Share your story below. Your voice could help someone else. If this story moved you, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Subscribe to Narrated by Abby for more true stories about trust, healing, and the quiet strength we don't always see. Stay smart, stay strong, and stay safe online. Thank you for watching.